people and just people in general are, don't know, are afraid to act because of all the mixed signals are coming out. Well, not really mixed signals anymore. They're just, where are we headed? We're gonna have inflation big time. We're gonna have stagflation, where you have inflation and no economic growth, or we're gonna have deflation. What's interest rates going to do then? What's energy costs going to do with the cap and tax proposal that unfortunately was passed out of the U.S. House, and our congressman Space voted for that. Now with the health care that was passed, all that uncertainty in taxes, they're raising taxes big time. We're going to see a huge increase in taxes January 1 if they don't, make the Bush tax permanent. You're going to see income taxes go up, capital gains go up, taxes, the estate tax comes back, just a whole host of taxes across the board. And now that some in Washington are talking about value-added tax on top of the taxes we got, like I said, you can't spend yourself to prosperity, you can't tax yourself to prosperity. And I'm a strong believer that the more that we can keep in the private sector's pockets, wallets, that's where you job growth. And there's just a report that came out today. Since the stimulus was passed in February of 2009, it has created some jobs, 200,000 government jobs, but has lost 2.6 million private sector jobs, and we have $13 trillion worth of debt now. So what we got is more government, less jobs, more debt, more costs, and higher taxes coming if we don't get this turned around. And so we just absolutely have to do it. And the one thing I when I get out, and I've been doing groups like this around the district, and also meet one-on-one with business people around the district, and I've never seen anything like this, that there's so many people are so nervous for the future, which we all are, but you really see when you talk to people. And there was an article here a couple weeks ago where the top 500 big companies in the United States, non-financial companies, are sitting on $1.8 trillion in cash. And there's a lot of that going on because they don't really want to take the risk and make investments. And so we've got to have policies come out of Washington, D.C. that bring that confidence back so people will invest. Because one thing I am seeing, there's a huge amount of pent-up demand. And if they had the right signals, felt confident, I think this economy would really take off, because there's a lot of pent-up demand out there for people that want to start a business or invest in a business, grow their businesses. And I can tell you that lots of stories, people I've talked to that are sitting and just wait and see attitude. And not everybody, and then of course one of the other problems has been some of the capital money that they loan out to businesses. It's been harder to get. Of course, one of the problems is there, Washington D.C., our government is competing for those dollars because they're borrowing so much. But there is an awful lot of money. I've met with business people that I met with one here just last week in the district that was seriously thinking about investing another $1 million in his business and create about 2 dozen jobs. And he's got the market out there to do it, and he doesn't have to borrow money to do it. And he's just sitting. And those stories are all over the place. And I figure if I'm hearing those, you can just imagine how it must be across the country. And so I think if we get we take Congress back, I think there's going to be a definite commitment to rein in the spending. And I think we really need to work to get our discretionary spending back down to fiscal year 07 or 08 levels. That's a good starting point. Ronald Reagan, when he took office, if you remember on Inauguration Day, first thing he did by executive order, he froze spending, froze government. But we got to do more than that now, because government's grown about 10% every year in the last 2 years. Put it in a little bit of perspective, when Zach Space and Nancy Pelosi took over Speaker, and Zach took office in January of 2007, the federal deficit was $161 billion. A lot of money, but at the end of that Congress it was $462 billion. And last September, at the end of the fiscal year, it was $1.42 trillion. And we're looking at $1.5, $1.8 trillion deficits as far as the eye can see. And so that's why we're seeing, this massive debt building up. And at some point, you would think that the Chinese entities or others are gonna want more return on their investment. And, you know, you think about it, we're not that far off where $1 trillion is gonna be what it costs to service the debt. You don't have to go back too many years ago, $1 trillion was the federal budget. The deficit of 1.6, 1.8, that was the federal budget back when first George Bush was president. So you can just see how much it's grown and how much we're at risk of ending up like Greece and some of the other problems in Western Europe. We just need to get this turned around, and I have full confidence in the private sector. If they get the right confidence and signals from Washington that we're on firm economic ground moving forward, that's one thing great about this country. We're so dynamic and diverse that we can come out of a lot of holes. And this country has always risen to the task, the challenge when it has. And I think what's happening now, the American people are waking up, and I think you'll see a big turnaround in November, and then come January, and the work really does begin, because we're going to have to make some tough decisions. But if they're not made, it won't matter, because not too far down the road, those decisions will be done by default. There won't be any money. The pie is shrinking, okay? And, you know, so this is really about job killers or job creators, or redistribution of wealth or wealth creation. And I kind of got an interesting little personal story. When I first started, I mentioned myself, I introduced my wife Jody, because I know you met her. But we started out farming in 1978 in Holmes County, and my goal was to raise feeder pigs. And we had about 120 sows, I think, there in the late 70s. And one night my dad came down and he said something to me that I never forgot. He said, this is really great what you're doing. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, you're helping the economy because you're creating wealth. And I kind of, you know, I was just in my young 20s and more focused on just raising pigs and thinking about what's he really mean there. And you think about it, if you don't create wealth, then there's not opportunities out here for people to improve their standard of living, their quality of life. And how do you create wealth? Is there are about only several ways that really happens. You develop our natural resources, you know, coal, oil, and gas. Agriculture, you grow it, raise it, and the other one is you make it, manufacture. And that's kind of three categories. If you don't have that, there's not much of an economy. And my dad, what he was saying was, he said, you're creating wealth, and I'm growing something, adding value to something people need, you know. And he said, you know, my dad was an insurance broker, and he said, if it wasn't for the wealth creators, I wouldn't have been successful. And that's what it's all about. And we're having bigger government, higher taxes, and higher costs. We're disincentivizing or discouraging people to take the risk to create wealth.